Hey guys, how's it going? Vince with Boomer Electronics here. Today I have a old school Game Boy that apparently has no power from what I was informed. So I took a quick look at it already. As you might be able to make out, there is some corrosion on a few of the battery terminals. Looks like there was some battery leakage at some point. I'm kind of wondering if that's the only problem. So I am going to go ahead and just pop in a few batteries here and see if I can get any signs of life from it. So I'm just kind of moving the batteries around, seeing if I can get a good connection with them. I'm not seeing the light come on at all. Okay, so I do have a plan B in case the batteries didn't work. So you can also power these via DC jack. I'm going to mention though, so this is a 6-volt center pin negative, which is not common, especially not these days. I have a kind of universal adapter, and it comes with another adapter you put on here which reverses the polarity, which you need. If you try to power this on without reversing the polarity, putting like center pin positive in, you're probably going to fry something, so just keep that in mind. So let's see if this will power on now. So it does power on. So then, yeah, I heard the sound. I have a test cartridge here too. So just good old Tetris. There we go. So yeah, it looks like a bunch of jumbled mess here. So the cartridge slot might also need cleaned. Let me try to reinsert it a few times, see if I can get the boot up. Oh yeah, there it goes. Maybe. No, actually, no, there are still some like artifacts in the Nintendo logo. But yeah, I have a feeling the cartridge slot probably just needs cleaned out too. Yeah, it's just not quite booting up. So what I'm going to do is clean out the cartridge slot and get some white vinegar on these battery terminals, and I'll just kind of fast forward through that while I'm doing it. Okay, yeah, I was kind of looking over it a bit, and yeah, it definitely looks like the motherboard got damaged around this area from all that battery acid. That and this terminal looks horrible, so I'm just going to have to take it off and replace it completely. I'm going to worry about that later. For now, I'm going to put it back together and make sure that it can read cartridges before I proceed any further. So I'm going to put it back together off camera and see what it looks like. Alright, Game Boy's back together enough for testing. Also sprayed the cartridge slot out. Got Tetris in, see if it'll read the game now at least. Yep, so just had a dirty cartridge slot there. Oh, also I'm seeing now that bunch of vertical lines missing on the screen. Yeah, so this thing's got a few issues. Yeah, as you can see, pretty much a good chunk of this part of the screen's missing. I also see, yeah, good chunk of this part over here too, actually. So yeah, this thing definitely needs some more work. So what's left to do on it is I need to remove this battery terminal and replace it, and fix the damage on the motherboard. I'm going to have to take a closer look at that. I'm going to have to try to heat up the screen ribbon cable and see if I can get the screen fully working. And yeah, then just a general cleanup and all that good stuff. But we'll have to see what we can do about all that. So I'm going to put this one to the side for now. I'll be back once I have a chance to go into my soldering area and get working on this again. Okay, I have the Game Boy board under the microscope here. I'm going to remove this corroded battery terminal, clean up as best as I can, and replace it. So I'll fast forward through that now. As you just saw, I scraped away all the corrosion caused by the battery acid, put a thin layer of solder over top of it, then covered it with some soldering mask so that the damage doesn't get any worse. Off camera, I actually did have to take this battery terminal out and modify it a bit so it would fit in here, which kind of makes sense because that battery terminal wasn't made for a Game Boy. So yeah, if you need to change the battery terminals, just make sure you're buying the correct type so you don't have to bother with that. So now I need to adjust the screen. So what I'm going to do is heat up this area with my soldering iron. I'm going to have my soldering iron at 300 degrees Celsius. I'm going to have this on, and while I'm doing that, you'll be able to see lines come fading in and out of the screen. And pretty much once all the lines stay put, we're going to be done. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that and kind of fast forward through it. So as you can see, no more missing vertical lines in the screen. So I'm going to put this back together, make sure it looks okay. I got the Game Boy all put back together. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I also cleaned it with one of those Mr. Clean Magic eraser sponges. Took all the marker off back here. It looks much nicer. So I'll go ahead and boot it up. Got Tetris in it. There we go. Yep, I am seeing a line there on the screen. Looks like it showed back up. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to hit this again, it looks like. Annoying. If this becomes a recurring issue, I'm just gonna have to replace the screen in here. But yeah, for now I'm just gonna have to go hit that again. I won't show that process again since I already showed it, but yeah, it's gonna be the same deal. Okay, so I actually did not touch up this screen cable any further, and this is why I did not. So kind of looking at this design here kind of reminds me of a PS3, PS4, and PS5 controller, because I've worked on a lot of those. And how those are designed is this cable, it has like a similar ribbon cable with a rubber piece that puts pressure against it. And it gets pressed against the shell of the controller in that case, which is how that ribbon will make contact. So after many years, these rubber pieces on the controllers kind of wear down, and then you start running into issues. So in the case of the controllers, to fix it, you basically just thicken them up a little bit, and it'll get that pressure again, and then it'll the ribbon cable will make a connection with the circuit board again. So with this Game Boy, it looks like it's kind of a two-tier. So first of all, they have the ribbon cable soldered down to the screen, and then if that starts to fail, this here is supposed to put pressure against the screen to keep it, basically to keep the screen working in case the solder joints start to fail. So what I'm actually thinking is I'm probably better off just making this rubber here thicker. And how I did that in this case, just kind of to test, possibly is maybe a permanent solution, is I put 3 layers of Scotch tape on top of it here. That's kind of why it probably looks a little funky. So I'm actually going to put this back together now and see if it holds. And yeah, we'll take a look at that. Okay, take 2 on this after I thickened up that rubber piece using some Scotch tape. Yeah, that line that was in there before is gone. So that might actually be a good solution for these as well, instead of just soldering down that ribbon cable more. Maybe in the future I'll use a 2-tier approach. I'll do that, and then I'll also thicken up that rubber, because it does wear out over time. Like I said, I've seen similar cases with a PS3, PS4, and PS5 controllers. The difference being that on those controllers, that's the only form of support those have to make a connection to the board. On this, it looks like it's just kind of a backup, but these are getting to the point where they're so old that both the main soldering job and that backup pressure are both kind of wearing out. So. But yeah, I'm going to actually hold on to this for another week or 2 and just make sure nothing happens with the screen before I post this for sale. But yeah, it looks good. If you're interested, I'll have a link to my eBay store in the description if you want to look for this. And yep, that's going to about do it. Hope you learned something, and take care.